You might be wondering why you would ever take yoga advice from a person who is missing half of her eyelashes that she bought at CVS last week. And to that I would say, I would also wonder that about you. Hello, my sweet friends. Welcome to today's
Asana Breakdown.
Lately, I've been doing this thing where I eat a whole bag of radishes in one sitting. Fun fact about me, stick it on your shirt, not on your nipples. Today, we will be coming into the one, the only, downward facing dog. So, if you remember last week, congrats. We ended in tabletop. We're also going to try this out in these shorts today. Shorts plus radishes. We're going to see where this goes. Right now, I feel fear. So we were in our tabletop shape. We're spinning the elbow creases to look forward, long spine, slight tuck of the chin. Maybe we take a deep breath in here to grow long. And an exhale to really pull the navel to the spine. I feel a radish burp coming. Did I mention I'm unemployed? And tuck the toes. This is my personal favorite way to get to downward dog. Maybe you bring the hands about half a palm forward, an inch or so. Spatial recognition is not where I shine. And if you stick around, that will become very clear. We sit back towards the heels, okay? How you get into downward dog determines the foundation. So we're building our foundation before we even get into the posture. Wild. I heard a teacher once say, pretend you're opening jars. Sit back towards the heels. See what it feels like here, okay? See what it feels like here to really open jars with your hands. Pressing into the fleshy part of the thumb and spinning the hands outward almost. I like to pull my knees to my chest before I get to my downward dog because that helps me unfurl, bloom, if you will, into my downward dog. And tilt the tail while keeping the abdomen almost glued to the tops of the thighs. So spinning the elbow creases, opening jars, pressing into all 10 fingerprints, just like our active tabletop shape, and begin to tilt the tail skyward. And as we tilt the tail, and realize you're breathing directly on the microphone, maybe the heels melt towards the earth. And here we are in our downward dog. I've heard some teachers say too to hug the low ribs and sometimes that speaks to my shoulder girdle. Girdle is such a gross word. To my upper back. And here we are, pushing equally into hands and feet. Sometimes I even like to lift my toes to really see where my foot pads are. And something else I just picked up recently at a class that I really liked, bending the elbows outward just a hair, and then wrapping the upper arm bones out and re-straightening the arms. These are just a few ways to find more balance in your downward dog. Maybe find a little more spice in your downward dog. This is an active downward dog shape, okay? And you can go anywhere from here. Coming up on the tippy toes, melting the heels back down. Oh my God. Let's talk about some ways to make your downward dog maybe a little bit more accessible. Maybe you wake up and you just feel a little bit different in your body. That's totally fine. Happens to me. Minute to minute, baby. You're such a little worm. It's called a trust noodle. I would highly recommend getting one and adding it to your yoga toolkit. I got this one for $80. It was on sale because it's missing an eye and it bites. Not a single bone. Not all of us can be like Toad and have not a single bone in our body. So maybe we're in a tabletop that looks like this, okay? Wouldn't necessarily recommend a tabletop that looks like this just because wiggle wobble. All right, especially if you're kind of a masochist like me and you got bamboo blocks. So we tuck the toes, sit back towards the heels, really get a good grip on this. Like I said, we don't want to be slipping and sliding and face planting. That would be really bad. And here is where we wrap the upper arm bones out, really suction. And as we tilt the tail, maybe the legs begin to straighten and the heels come down towards the earth. Everything in yoga is just building an intention for the movement. So maybe I'm here, but my intention is still for the heels to come down. I can be here, and so long as I'm using all of the cues appropriately in my body, it doesn't really matter what it looks like. You can reap the benefits of any yoga posture so long as your intention is there. I can intend for the heels to be on the earth, and maybe they're not. I can intend for the legs to be straight, maybe they're not. But if I'm intending that and building a foundation from the ground up, from an active tabletop to a strong downward dog, then it doesn't matter what the fuck it looks like. You can do whatever the fuck you want. I love that for you. So here's just another option. Okay, I like to bend my knees when I'm in a downward dog, really glue abdomen to the upper thigh so that I can peel my tail towards the sky. And maybe add in a little lion's breath. Maybe shift forward to a plank or a supported plank. Go where you may with your downward dog today, and I will see you next week for another excuse me.
Asana Breakdown.
Tune in next week to see where we go from downward dog and maybe hear about why the hair doesn't grow on the back of my head and how insecure I am about it, because that's just where I'm at today, fam. Oh my fucking god. I literally, how? This is why I'm unemployed, because this is all I want to do.